lot of the times, the key stakeholders that are the ones purchasing the project or the key decision makers are not actually the end users, the daily users of the system. We may have a CEO, CIO, CFO who's really looking forward to having the system implemented. They have a lot of thoughts about, hey, we need this functionality and that. A big portion of scoping is not to just have that conversation with just the decision makers in the room, right? We need to actually have the business users involved in order to fully understand what needs to take place in the system, right? Just because, hey, the CFO is in the existing system, managing their financial reporting and reviewing, conducting any of that analysis, doesn't mean that they know every single bit of what the AP team is doing today. Actually having those business users is a key portion of our diagnostics and why we have a significant amount of time dedicated to that process. Whenever we start an implementation project, at every stage of the project, from diagnostics to the actual implementation, really even in the sales cycle, one of the first and most important things is to understand the why behind the project. That might be the why at the executive level, but also understanding the why at the user level and all of the different goals that we have for the project. We want to be more efficient in our processes. Maybe the goal is truly just we need to get off this old system and we need to do it by year end. There can be a lot of different goals, but at the end of the day, we need to make sure that those stay first and foremost in our mind whenever we are working with the customer in scoping, actually doing the implementation, and then finally, when we go live and realize that value, we need to make sure that we are hitting those goals. These goals might change, especially when we get into diagnostics and people start really talking about what they want to see. This is why it's very important for us to have a honest conversation about these are our goals. Some people might have these thoughts, these feelings about how the system needs to react, how the processes need to function. Are those actual goals? Do we need to design for that and have them in scope? Usually the answer is yes, but sometimes we won't have those as priorities. So just being in agreement on exactly what we're trying to achieve helps us find that correct scope. There is a very real reason why we will not perform a project with a warehouse portion without seeing the warehouse in person. We will not greenlight a project without actually being in the warehouse, seeing the regular function, the processes that occur there. Absolutely, we will need to see what we're doing currently in the old system, but that almost takes a backseat to what everyone is doing in real life with the business, right? We are not here to just take an old system and replicate that in Business Central. We want to be the partner that helps you improve processes first and foremost, right? These are systems that enable business. We are not businesses that are just using systems to function. This is a really key tenet to where we need to design to the process and not just around what the system should offer. I think the two main things that set Volt apart, and really not even just in the diagnostics phase, but kind of throughout the entire engagement, is the implementation methodology that we have. Absolutely, diagnostics is a part of that, right? Being able to scope things up front, but everything that we do in that diagnostics is looking at the project through the lens of our implementation methodology. Anyone who's doing that diagnostics is a master of that implementation methodology, understands exactly what we need to do and when, and is able to scope the project in terms of that methodology that we know is a proven process, it is successful, this works. The second piece that really sets Volt apart is the people. We have people that are caring, people that are very competent, and people that work hard. And these things make a huge difference. You combine the two between the methodology and the types of people, and you're really able to step in, have a good scoping, and then have a successful project. Before you start an implementation project, a project that's going to take months, probably closer to a year, you really want to make sure that you know the goals, the why, and exactly what successful project looks like. And in my opinion, having that view in place it really requires actually sitting down and doing in-depth diagnostics. Whatever you want to call that, it's going to take sitting down with the business, it's going to take sitting down with the stakeholders, and then a period of planning to actually step through and see exactly all of the different pieces of the project. You want to make sure that, hey, as much as you can plan for a week by week, a detailed view of what that successful project looks like, that needs to be done up front.